Hello and welcome to this Friday's episode of Sports Corner. I'm Cole Young, and not to sound like a broken record, but we're still in the middle of the NBA playoffs and the Stanley Cup playoffs, plus a few other things are going around the sports world, so I'll get right to it. Starting in hockey, we last left off with the Colorado Avalanche taking a 2-0 series lead over the Minnesota Wild. In Game 3, Kirill Kaprizov scored first and assisted on the next two goals. Quinn Hughes followed Kaprizov's 4-on-4 score late in the first period with a 4-on-3 goal less than 2 minutes later, and the Wild forced a goalie change and handed the Avalanche their first loss in this postseason with a 5-1 victory on Saturday night. With the series at 2-1, Game 4 was in Minnesota on Monday. Ross Colton and Parker Kelly each scored in the third period for Colorado, the perfect time for each of their first goals of the postseason, and Colorado snapped back from their Game 3 loss to beat Minnesota and take a 3-1 lead in the series. This series came to a close on Wednesday night in spectacular fashion. Brett Kulak scored just about 4 minutes into overtime, his first goal since January, and the Avalanche advanced to the Western Conference Final with a 4-3 victory over the Minnesota Wild in Game 5. Kulak capped a wild comeback for the Avalanche, who trailed 3-0 midway through the second period. Colorado moves on to the conference final for an 8th time since relocating to Denver back in 1995. The other series in the West, between our local Anaheim Ducks and the Vegas Golden Knights, has been must-see TV so far. In Game 3 last Friday, Vegas made a statement. Mitch Marner had 3 goals and an assist in his first career playoff hat trick. Shea Theodore had a goal and an assist. Braden McNabb scored a shorthanded goal, and the Golden Knights dominated the Ducks 6-2 to take a 2-1 lead. The Knights jumped out to a staggering 5-0 lead after just 2 periods. But the Ducks got back on track in Game 4. Alex Killorn and rookie Beckett Seneca had a power play goal and an assist each, and the Ducks beat Vegas 4-3 on Sunday night to even their second-round series at 2 wins apiece. Like I said, this series has been must-see, as teams are just swapping wins. In Game 5 on Tuesday night, Pavel Dorofeyev, who earlier had a power play goal, scored at 4:10 of overtime to give Vegas a 3-2 victory over Anaheim, moving the Golden Knights just 1 victory away from advancing to the Western Conference Final. Could the Ducks win at home last night to stay alive and force Game 7? The Knights managed to hold off the Ducks and secure the Game 6 win, punching their ticket to the Western Conference Finals for the first time since winning the Stanley Cup in the 2022 season. They will face Colorado for a spot in the Stanley Cup Final. Heading over to the East, the Carolina Hurricanes have been nothing short of dominant throughout these playoffs. Jackson Blake scored 5 minutes and 28 seconds into overtime for his second of the game. Logan Stankoven also scored in regulation, and the Hurricanes finished a 4-game sweep with a 3-2 victory over the Philadelphia Flyers last Saturday to advance to the Eastern Conference Finals for their second straight season. Frederik Andersen made 15 saves for Carolina, who has won 8 straight games this postseason. Carolina now gets plenty of time to rest and recover while they wait to see who their opponent will be for a shot at a Stanley Cup Finals appearance. For that spot, the Buffalo Sabres and Montreal Canadiens have been battling back and forth. In Game 2 of that series last weekend, Alex Newhook had 2 goals, and the Canadiens beat the Sabres 5-1 on Friday night to even their series at 1 game each. Then, in Game 3, the Canadiens again put up some large numbers. Cole Caulfield scored his second goal of the playoffs and added an assist as Montreal beat Buffalo 6-2 on Sunday night to take a 2-1 lead. Game 4 was then on Tuesday, and it was a nail-biter. Zach Benson broke the tie on a third-period power play, and the Sabres beat the Canadiens 3-2 to even the series at 2-2. That win included one of the wildest goals I've ever seen from Tage Thompson. During a second-period power play, Thompson shot the puck from center ice around the boards to get his team set up in the attack zone. The puck deflected off the corner of the glass near the Zamboni entrance door and ricocheted directly off the top of Montreal goalie Jacob Dobe's right pad and into the net to tie the score at 2-2. He wasn't even attempting a shot, but sometimes the hockey gods are just on your side. Anyway, the pivotal Game 5 was last night. The Canadiens bounced back with a win and are now just 1 win away from an Eastern Conference Finals appearance. We're down to just a few remaining teams in these playoffs, so be sure to tune in this weekend to see which teams advance and the start of the conference finals next week. Moving on to the NBA playoffs, when we last checked in on the Lakers, they were down 2-0 to the defending champions. What happened in these next 2 games was more of the same as the first 2. In Game 3, A.J. Mitchell had career playoff highs of 24 points and 10 assists, and the Oklahoma City Thunder extended their unbeaten playoff run with a 131-108 victory over LA. In Game 4, the Lakers had to steal a win or pack their bags and head home for the season. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander scored 35 points, Chet Holmgren made a tie-breaking dunk with 32.8 seconds to play, and the Thunder swept the Los Angeles Lakers out of the second round of the NBA playoffs with a 115-110 victory on Monday. They advanced to the Western Conference Finals and had to rest and recover while they waited to see who their opponent would be in the next round, either the Minnesota Timberwolves or the San Antonio Spurs. This series was tied at 1-1, and Game 3 headed to Minnesota. There, Victor Wembanyama delivered another masterpiece with 39 points and 15 rebounds, and the Spurs took a 2-1 lead with a 115-108 victory over the T-Wolves on Friday night. Anthony Edwards then followed up with a 36-point performance in Game 4, and Minnesota evened the series back up with a 114-109 win. To bring us fully up to speed, Game 5 was on Tuesday. Stop me if you've heard this one before, but Wembanyama had another monster game. He finished with 27 points, 17 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 blocks as the Spurs beat the Timberwolves 126-97 to take a 3-2 lead. At 22 years old, Wembanyama is the third youngest player in NBA history to post that stat line in a playoff game, trailing only Magic Johnson and Luka Doncic. In the Eastern Conference, one team advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals in one of the most dominant performances I personally have ever seen. Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, and the New York Knicks are back in the Eastern Conference Finals, tying the NBA postseason record with 25 three-pointers, and rolling past the Philadelphia 76ers 144-114 to sweep the second-round series. Deuce McBride hit 7 three-pointers, going 4 for 4 in the first quarter, when the Knicks set another record with 11. Brunson had 22 points, and Hart and Karl Anthony Towns each scored 17 in the latest lopsided playoff victory. The Knicks' 19.4-point average margin of victory is the largest through 2 rounds since the playoffs went to 16 teams in 1984. Just like OKC, New York now has to wait and see who their opponent will be, and it will be either the Detroit Pistons or the Cleveland Cavaliers. In that series, the Cavaliers evened the series when Donovan Mitchell tied an NBA playoff record with 39 points in the second half, and Cleveland defeated the Pistons with a 112-103 victory Monday night. Mitchell finished the night with a whopping 43 points. In Game 5, it was James Harden that led the charge. He scored a playoff-best 30 points, and Mitchell added 21, helping the Cavaliers come back from a 9-point deficit late in regulation to beat the Pistons 117-113 in overtime to take a 3-2 series lead. Game 6 of this series will be today at 4. Just like in the NHL, by this time next week, the final 4 teams will be set and we will be approaching the conclusion of the seasons. Outside of these playoff series, one of the major events in golf is underway this week, the PGA Championship. The 2026 tournament at Aronimink Golf Club in Newton Square, Pennsylvania has teed off, and defending champion Scottie Scheffler is looking to keep his title. Rory McIlroy is fresh off his Masters win and will be looking to add another major victory to his resume. Another player to watch is Jordan Spieth, as he could complete a career Grand Slam with a win this week. The final round of this tournament will begin early Sunday morning on ESPN. Lastly, to end the show, we're officially less than 30 days away from the start of the World Cup. The international tournament will officially begin with the match between Mexico and South Africa on June 11th. The United States will begin their World Cup journey against Paraguay on June 12th. This is arguably the largest sporting event in the world, so I, for one, can't wait. That's going to do it for this Friday's episode of Sports Corner. Enjoy all of the NBA, NHL, golf, WNBA, soccer, and so much more that this weekend has to offer. Next Friday, believe it or not, is the 200th episode of Sports Corner. So be sure to come right back next week and see what fun stuff we have in store. As always, thanks for tuning in. I'm Cole Young, and I'll see you next time.